Hello students, this is Waqar Ahmed, your economics teacher from Cambridge International School, Dasur. And in today's class, we will be winding up chapter number 11 by revising the main topics from this chapter and by taking up one very well discussed and important topic in the end of the class. So, let us start. So, first is foreign exchange rate. It refers to the situation when prices of one currency are expressed in terms of another currency, or in plain speak, it refers to the situation when prices of domestic currency are expressed in terms of foreign currency. So, if we say that dollar rupees exchange ratio is 50, so we are saying that we require 50 units of domestic currency, means rupee, to buy 1 unit of US dollar, and this is the popular way of using foreign exchange rate in economic literature, and this is how generally we see these exchange rates written in books or in newspapers or expressed in financial channels or financial newspapers. So, foreign exchange rate is the situation when we know that how many units of domestic currency are required to buy 1 unit of foreign currency. Now comes the situation that how do we decide this exchange ratio or exchange rate. For this determination, generally there are many exchange rate systems in this global economy, but 3 are the most popular, and they are fixed exchange rate system, flexible or floating exchange rate system, and managed floating exchange rate system. So, as first we will talk about fixed exchange rate system. In this system, the exchange rate is determined by a central authority, generally central bank, or by the government. And in today's world, there are few countries, but China being one of the strong proponent or example of fixed exchange rate system. The rate is determined by the government or the central bank, and the changes in fixed exchange rate system means if the exchange ratio goes up or down are known as revaluation and devaluation. If the domestic currency appreciates in fixed exchange rate system, then it is known as revaluation, and if domestic currency decreases, then it is known as devaluation, and there is absolute authority or 100% control of the central bank in deciding the exchange rate. Now, second is floating or flexible exchange rate system. It refers to the system in which exchange rate is determined by the market forces of demand and supply, and there is no role of central government or central bank in deciding the exchange rate. And if the ratio of domestic currency as compared to foreign currency increases, this is known as appreciation, and if the ratio of domestic currency against foreign currency decreases, it is known as depreciation. Earlier it was revaluation and devaluation, and here in this system it is known as appreciation and depreciation. Now, the third system is managed floating exchange rate system, and it basically is the combination of previous two systems. In this system, the exchange rate is determined by the market forces of demand and supply, but in case of extreme fluctuations, means extreme up and down or extreme upward movement or downward movement of currency, central authority or central bank intervenes and try to correct the situation. How does central bank corrects the situation? We will be studying at the last of this lesson. In this situation, changes are known as appreciation and depreciation, and there is partial control or partial role of RBI or central bank in correcting the exchange rate. So, these 3 are the main foreign exchange rate system prevailing in the global economy. Now, what happens or what is the impact of appreciation and depreciation on import and export of an economy? First, let us talk about appreciation. So, if you are aware, or you must be aware as of now, that appreciation means if the exchange ratio between dollar and rupee is 50, then it becomes 45 or 40, then it is called appreciation of domestic currency, or we say that domestic currency has become strong. So, in this situation, what happens when appreciation of domestic currency occurs? Then the domestic good become more expensive for foreigners to buy, because now they need to pay more dollars to purchase goods from India. It results in decrease in export, whereas now become the rupee has become stronger or more valuable, we can buy more goods and services from abroad with same amount of rupee. So, it leads to increase in imports. So, if domestic currency appreciates, then it leads to increase in imports and decrease in exports. Whereas, if depreciation of domestic currency is considered, it means a situation when rupee and dollar ratio becomes, means if it is 50, then it becomes 55 or 60. It means if we were paying 50 rupees to buy 1 unit of a dollar, now we need to pay 60 rupees to buy 1 unit of a dollar. So, means we need to pay more, rupee has become weaker, the value of rupee has decreased, means foreigners can buy, if they were earlier buying 50 rupees worth of goods and services from $1, now they can buy 60 rupees worth of goods and services from very same $1. So, what happens? Exports increases and imports decreases, because if we need to purchase something from abroad, we need to pay more rupees, which discourage import. So, in case of depreciation, exports increase whereas imports decrease. So, you can see from this diagram, just a recap, that as far as appreciation is concerned, imports increase and exports decrease, and if we talk about depreciation, exports increase and imports decrease. Now, the question arises that how do we fix exchange rate in flexible exchange rate system? So, in this type of exchange rate system, the exchange rate is determined by market forces of demand and supply, and if you look around yourself, this is actually the norm in deciding the prices of all goods and services in the market. So, this applies to currency rate of exchange determination as well, and in this system the central authority or central bank, to be specific, do not intervene or interfere in deciding the rates. It is all about market forces of demand and supply, and because central bank do not interfere, so they need not to keep official reserve, and there are no official reserve transactions. What are official reserve transactions? We will talk in the next chapter. So, the rate is determined by market forces of demand and supply with 0% interference from RBI or central bank. So, no official reserve is maintained and there are no official reserve transactions. Now, the question is that who demands and who supplies foreign exchange in an economy? So, first let us talk about the reasons who are responsible for demand or outflow of forex in an economy. First is importers who import goods and services into an economy. So, they need dollars to pay abroad, outflow. Then unilateral transfer payments to abroad, like we need to give gifts, grants or remittances to abroad. Then third is investment abroad, you require dollar to purchase anything in US. Then outbound tourism, health and education, as you in your summer vacations go to Dubai, go to Canada, go to somewhere else, you need forex to deal. And then if you are going for treatment, or you are going as a student, which hopefully you will be going up in the next academic session, so you will require forex as well. And then foreign exchange is exchange speculation, means you are just buying and selling or dealing in forex in hope that the currency moves according to your expectations and you gain from that movement of currency. There is no business requirement, there is no other type of requirement to you of foreign exchange, but you are just betting that the currency moves according to your estimates and you benefits from that movement. Now, who supplies foreign exchange in an economy? If you will just reverse the transactions, basically you will get an idea. So supplier means who is giving or bringing in the forex in the economy, means inflow of forex in the economy. And they are exporters, they sell their goods abroad and receive dollars or foreign exchange in return of that, that brings into the economy or that comes into the economy. Then unilateral transfer payments from abroad, we receive gifts, grants, remittances from abroad. Then foreign investment coming into our country in the form of FII and FDI. Then foreigners coming as tourists, coming as patients, coming as students into our country, they bring in their own forex. Then foreign exchange speculation, same as in demand. And last is means Indians, resident Indians are going abroad to do job, they earn their salaries there and then they send that those part of those salaries to India, means factor income from abroad. Then loans, grants, interests received from abroad. So these are the factors which leads to demand and supply of forex. And when these demand and supply curves intersect each other, at that point exchange rate is determined in flexible exchange rate system. And in the last lesson we talked about what happens if demand increases, demand decreases, or supply increases, supply decreases of the foreign exchange. So let me recap. So if there is increase in demand of US dollar, it will lead to depreciation of domestic currency. If there is decrease in demand of US dollar, then it will lead to appreciation of domestic currency. And as far as supply is concerned, if there is increase in supply of US dollar into our economy, it will lead to appreciation of domestic currency. And if there is decrease of US dollar, decrease in supply of US dollar into our economy, that will lead to depreciation of domestic currency. So now you must have heard in newspapers that RBI is buying dollars from international forex market, or RBI is selling dollars into international forex market. Why RBI do these kind of activities? So basically we all know that the exchange rate keeps on changing. Sometime what happens that the rupee against dollar appreciates too much, and appreciation hurts exports. So what RBI does to increase the exports, we need cheaper rupee, weaker rupee, or so what RBI does, RBI starts buying dollars from the international forex market. And as you can see from the diagram, when I buy something, means I am demanding something. So when RBI is buying dollar, RBI is demanding dollar. So the demand for dollar has increased. And as you can see from the diagram, when the demand for the dollar increases, the demand curve shifts to rightward, which leads to depreciation in Indian rupees value. Earlier, the value was 60 rupees against a dollar. Now, because of RBI interference, it has depreciated to 62 rupees. So, we know that if rupee depreciate, it leads to increase in exports. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, Why RBI buys dollars? To increase exports, to build foreign reserve. Means if RBI is buying dollars, it is increasing the foreign exchange reserve of our government with RBI. And third, if in some special circumstances all that FII means foreign institutional investors, all international players, financial institutions who has invested their money into our stock market, they decide that now it is not a good time to invest in India. So they will take away all of their dollars with them. Then our economy may get weak. So to support the economy at that particular point of time, RBI can infuse, means can sell dollars into the international market to stabilize the Indian economy. So these are the three main factors that why RBI buys dollars from international market. And the bottom line is RBI buys dollars to depreciate Indian rupee, to make Indian exports cheaper and increase the exports from India, which generates jobs into our economy. And all those things which comes with job, we all know with job comes income, expenditure, more jobs, and all that things we have studied in AD/AS equilibrium. So that is why basically RBI depreciates rupee to maintain its foreign exchange reserve and to increase or boost exports from India. Now the second situation, why RBI sells dollar into the international forex market? Just the opposite of demand situation. If our rupee has depreciated too much, means we want our rupee to be weaker but not too weaker, because that has got its own consequences. Okay, so what RBI can do is RBI can sell dollars into the international forex market. Means RBI can increase the supply of forex into international forex market, and with increase in supply, the supply curve of US dollar will shifts rightward, which will lead to downward movement on the rate of exchange axis. Means Indian rupee, earlier the exchange ratio was 60 rupees to $1. Now after increase in supply, it has become 58 rupees to $1. Means it leads to appreciation of domestic currency, and generally this appreciation is done so that and it is just very minuscule or very small point, but I just need to tell you, so that imports may become a bit more accessible to all, but it is kind of not a very important factor. So overall there are more benefits to India with weak rupees rather than a strong rupee. So these are the two causes which leads RBI to buy or sell US dollars into international forex market. So that's it for today, students. We have completed 11 chapters, and tomorrow I will be sending you worksheet of chapter number 10 up to chapter number 9. I have sent you all the worksheets, and I hope and I assume that you have written all the answers in your school notebook, and all the answers are very important from board's perspective. And as you know that we will be having very short class time in this session, so it is very important for all of you to solve all the problems in your school notebook, all the question answers, all the numericals. And if you feel any kind of difficulty, then you can definitely contact me without any kind of hesitation, and I'll try and solve all your problems. But you need to be kind of more responsible. Because of this situation, we may have less classes as compared to previous sessions, and less classes means we need to be very well focused, and we need to utilize this stay at home time in more productive manner. And I sincerely hope that all of you are, as all of you are very good students, so you must be utilizing your time by studying as well as by doing some other activities. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I shall be sending you worksheet of chapter number 10. So stay healthy, stay inside, utilize your time properly. Bye.